Hello everyone, hope you're doing well today. I am, of course, Fox Ice Pancakes here on YouTube, and today this is just a follow-up video on my video that I made yesterday talking about Apex Legends as a whole, my kind of experience just with the gameplay in its current state, or at least as it was in Season 3. Now, Season 4 changed a couple of things that make 2 points that I made, or maybe one overarching point I should say, different, or they added on to what I liked about the gameplay. So what I said in the previous Apex video, which I believe I released yesterday, if I'm doing this properly, I should release these sequentially back to back so that I'm not like a week later have this sort of less formal follow-up commentary video on Season 4 of Apex. So what I said I liked about Apex and what I felt like I emphasized quite a bit, was that there was a lack of long-range snipers. Now, that's kind of untrue, because in Season 3, before Season 4 patch released, we still had the Scout, we had the Longbow, and we had the Triple Take, all of which could take sniper optics and be shot from a range. But the thing was, with those sniper rifles, was that the guns that you had in conjunction with the ammo that those guns usually carried, you usually preferred to have the other ones that had the same ammo. So for example, the Longbow carried heavy ammo, the Triple Take had energy ammo, and the Scout had light ammo. And the thing about these guns was, and also the Charge Rifle, I forgot, the Charge Rifle also had energy ammo. And the thing about those is that I saw that more people, and myself included, would prefer to have spent their heavy ammo on guns more like the Spitfire, or maybe guns more like the R99, or, the G7 Scout was actually pretty powerful by itself, so maybe the Scout's an exemption to the rule here. But what I'm saying is that when it came to that ammo, people generally preferred to spend that kind of ammo on weapons that were more powerful in close range fights, because close range fights were the sort of meta going for the game. And I emphasized that I liked the lack of long range rifles. But then Season 4 came around, and there were a whole lot of things that were changed that I feel like I need to address. A lot of this I'm going off the top of my head. I have not looked anything up. I don't even have a tab open. I'm just kind of rambling and going off of what I can say off the top of my head about Season 4 and just kind of my general impressions. So it's like less scripted, it's less formal in a way, but this way I can also feel like I'm being more genuine with my thoughts. I mean, it's not that my reviews aren't genuine thoughts, but this does seem a little more personal in some ways, where it's not as professionally put together. It's just kind of like listening to a podcast or a commentary. So Season 4, first and foremost, the part that conflicts with my script the most is that they added a new sniper rifle, they added the Sentinel, and then they designated the Longbow, the Sentinel, the Charge Rifle, and the Triple Take all to sniper rifle ammo, and then they took the G7 Scout and just made it a single fire rifle with a really high rate of fire. They even increased the rate of fire that thing has and still give it double tap. So it's basically an AR at that point, a single fire AR. And it does some decent damage. It's like 36 damage a hit on body shots if you're not hitting a fortified character like Gibraltar or Caustic. And the thing is, even though there is a sniper rifle class specifically in the game, and now there's more emphasis on that part of the game, I think it actually ties into the gameplay rather well. So you have the ability to have long range fights now, which initially I was thinking was a bad thing, because a lot of what was great about Apex was the high TTK. So you would have to actually engage on fights and be aggressive and go in all the time. And with the sniper rifles, as we saw, the games like PUBG, like Fortnite, you just kind of wait out and hit somebody with one headshot and know they're down. That's the end of the game there, right? And that was like something that I really liked about Apex, was that, like, okay, if you die, you actually just died because you're being a potato. Now, I do potato on this game quite a bit. I don't want to deny that I don't want to say that I'm good at the game in any capacity. So these are just, I guess, what Potato's thoughts on Apex Season 4. That's a great title. I love that. But the sniper rifles, the thing is that they add some variety to the gameplay. So you no longer have to really be relying on these close range engagements. Now, what I think that sniper rifles are most powerful for is obviously hitting at range, but you can hit someone at range and then run up and engage them in a close range fight while they're trying to heal or backed off trying to, avoid you, right? It gives you a lot of ability to move around the map. It gives you the ability to use the scope to scope out areas. And it really also kind of limits you, because if you get into those close range fights, then you can do nothing. So that sort of ability to be able to push people with sniper rifles as well is even more powerful now. I think that part of the gameplay is actually exemplified, because people will now hide behind a sniper rifle from a distance, and you're just like, well, okay, I'll just find another way around and push you. And when you get to close range, a lot of these people panic, or they only have one other gun to go with, and so therefore when they run out that clip, and if you're not running a sniper rifle, you're way better at close range, and you still win those fights because of the high TTK that is still present in the game. The Kraber comment that I had is irrelevant, because you can get one shot from a distance with the sniper rifle now, but you have to be pretty good with it to actually down somebody with it and actually finish them off. You still have to rely on their team not peeking and not picking them up and stuff like that. And knockdown shields still are a thing, and that definitely protects against snipers. So I don't think that the sniper meta is a bad thing, despite how my commentary made or not meta, but like the introduction of snipers is a bad thing, despite how my commentary made it sound like something. And then I want to go back to the ammo thing. The nice thing about adding sniper ammo is that you really do focus on, do I want to have a light weapon? Like, do I want to have the R301, or do I want to have the Havoc or the L-Star as my primary and the sniper secondary, instead of being like, well, I guess I could split this ammo. I'm personally a huge fan of the Spitfire and the R301 myself. Now, do I want to spend this heavy ammo on a longbow, or I'd rather spend it on the Spitfire? And 100% of the time it would be the Spitfire. But now I can have a Spitfire and a longbow, because the longbow is actually my favorite sniper rifle in the game now. And having that ability to divvy up my ammo between a heavy weapon and a separate weapon with a whole different weapon class and a different functionality, and the ability to be like, I'm going to hit you from a distance and then run up with Spitfire and take your whole team out, is a lot more gratifying for me in the sense that it kind of exemplifies, like I've said that word a couple times now. Let me use a different word. It really lets that part of the gameplay shine in comparison to what it used to be, where it was always going in and you were always getting like third party by somebody. I mean, you still get third party like crazy, and it's even worse now with the snipers, because you're just like, oh, hey, there's a fight over there. Let me see if I can get some pot shots off. Maybe that's like the one negative thing now, is that it's much more passive third partying now. But at the same time, you don't have those moments where you're just like, oh, I wonder what people are. Oh, I just got missed by a sniper shot. Okay, well, they're over there. Oh, I don't know where people are. Oh, versus, last season where you just had people always pushing you, and the people who were better at mobility or just had, better timing and saw you passing a place when you thought there was no one around. It's not so focused around that anymore, and I think that this sort of change to the weapon loadouts is a net positive thing. I think it's actually a really good thing now. Also wanted to talk about the introduction of the character Revenant. I don't think he changes a whole lot about the game, and I think a lot of that comes through his death totem being underwhelming, I think is one way to put it. Because you only have 100 health when you're running out of there, and when you recall to the totem, you're back to 0. Now, I understand that good players, if they use it and they have the good aim, going up against other players who aren't as good, can use the death totem really heavily to their advantage. But what if you still take 100 points of damage and are knocked back to the totem, and you're down to 1 health with your shields? Then you're in a bit of trouble there, because if your shields get knocked out, which they do get knocked out quite easily, then you're down to 1 health in reserve, and you have to rely on being able to heal quickly. I think that Revenant is very situational in the way that his ability to shut down other people's abilities, but in a very small radius, works more on like compact team fights. And with the snipers, even though there are still compact team fights, with the snipers, I don't think you'll be getting them nearly as often. And secondly, I think he really only would work well with a Gibraltar. Now, Gibraltar, I think, is busted this season. Again, the shield passive where you heal faster inside the shield is nutty, and I think it would work really, really well with a Revenant. So if you bring a Revenant and you bring a Gibraltar and you bring, I don't know, maybe a Pathfinder or something to help you guys get away, You put the shield around the death totem, you go into the death totem, you run at your enemies, and then recall and heal up quicker inside this dome of protection where you have increased healing effects is very, very powerful. But I think it's situational versus other characters like Pathfinder. Again, I think Pathfinder is just one of the best characters in the game right now, who is useful in pretty much any situation. He can get up to high areas quickly. He can scan the map for you and let you reposition well around the zone. He can put a zip line down so that your team can move around the map quicker. And he's really good at just being a all-around team player. And I think that's what is great about him, but also incredibly overpowered over him. Also, he can move across the map like nobody's dang business. I think I remember seeing some post on r/Apex Legends a while back where someone was comparing the time that it took Pathfinder to kind of run that gauntlet on the firing range with his super jump ability versus Octane just using his Q, which Octane's supposed to be the Speedy Gonzalez stim from Titanfall character versus a grapple main from Titanfall. And this person was disappointed that Octane was running faster than Pathfinder was with a grapple. But I don't know, maybe that's just normal with grapples in Titanfall. And I say Titanfall because Respawn took some of the assets that they had in Titanfall and added them directly into Apex. So I think that there's, I don't know, Stim can definitely move faster in Titanfall, for sure. But grapple has more vertical mobility, whereas in this game I can see, yeah, Pathfinder's a little strong because of some of the things that he can do. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling at this point. I hope you guys understand what I mean by my opinion on the major changes. Like I'm just saying the inclusion of sniper rifles and Revenant are probably my thoughts, my biggest thoughts on this season, or the most overarching thoughts I have on this season. And I know that there are other changes too, like removing Turbocharger probably, well, it kind of made Havoc a bit weaker, even though the charge up time's a little faster. Nerfing R99 damage doesn't really do all too much, but it's kind of nice, I guess. What else? I don't remember anything else, actually. So that'll just be the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day, night, or space cycle, depending on when and where you watch this video. And I'll see you on the flip side. Goodbye.